Have you ever just stopped and thought about that incredible machine inside your chest? The one that never, ever takes a break? Well, today, we're going to go on a really simple, slow-paced journey to understand exactly how your heart works. Okay, let's dive right in. I want you to think of your heart as the most reliable engine ever built. Seriously, it's this powerful muscle, working tirelessly, second by second, day by day, to pump life-sustaining blood to every single part of your body. It's literally the engine that runs you. So to make this super easy to follow, we've broken it down into 5 parts. First, we'll look at the heart's basic job as the body's engine. Then we'll follow a single drop of blood on its journey. After that, we'll uncover the electrical spark that powers the whole thing, see how that creates the squeeze, and finally, put it all together. Right, section 1. So, what is this engine actually made of? Well, it's way more than just a simple muscle. It's a really specialized, brilliant piece of biological engineering. Okay, so the walls of your heart, they're made of this unique muscle called the myocardium. And here's the crucial thing you need to know about it. It's involuntary. You don't have to think, beat heart, beat. It just does it, all on its own, automatically. Pretty amazing, right? And the heart doesn't work alone. Nope. It's wrapped in a protective sac called the pericardium. Think of it like a personal bodyguard. This sac cushions the heart, holds it right where it's supposed to be in your chest, and even helps protect it from infections. All of this while the heart inside is busy with its main mission, pumping that oxygen out to your whole body. Okay, now for the really cool part. To truly get how the heart works, we're going to follow a single drop of blood as it travels through the heart's amazing plumbing system. This is where the magic really happens. But before we start that journey, you got to understand this one key thing. The heart is basically 2 pumps working side by side. The right side has one mission: take in all the used oxygen-poor blood and send it over to the lungs. The left side's mission: take that fresh, oxygen-rich blood from the lungs and pump it out to the rest of the body. 2 pumps, 1 perfectly coordinated team. So our little blood cell's journey begins right here, in the right atrium. This is the first stop, the main receiving room. All the blood that's been out working, dropping off oxygen to your muscles and organs, it all comes back here to get ready for a refill. From that first room, the blood passes through a little one-way door. That's called the tricuspid valve, and into the right ventricle. Now this chamber is the first pump. It gives that oxygen-poor blood the first big push it needs to go on a quick trip next door to the lungs. After its little trip to the lungs to pick up a fresh supply of oxygen, our blood cell comes back to the heart. This time, it enters the left atrium. You can think of this as the waiting room for all this fresh, oxygenated blood, getting it all ready for the main event. And finally, the blood moves into the left ventricle. This, my friends, is the powerhouse of the heart. Its walls are super thick and strong for a reason. It has the massive job of pumping that fresh blood out through the aorta to every single corner of your body, from your brain to the tips of your toes. So let's do a quick recap of that whole plumbing route. Used blood comes from the body into the right atrium, then the right ventricle, which shoots it to the lungs. Then fresh blood comes back from the lungs into the left atrium, then the left ventricle, which pumps it out to the entire body. It's simple, so efficient, and it never stops. But wait, how does the blood not flow backward? Great question. It uses 4 perfect one-way doors called valves. And these valves are held in place by tiny but incredibly strong cords. It's just like the ropes on a sail, making sure those doors slam shut at exactly the right moment so blood can only go one way. So we've seen the plumbing, right? We know the path the blood takes. But that's only half the story. Now we've got to talk about the second critical system, the electricity that actually powers the pump. Which leads to the obvious question, doesn't it? We know the muscle can squeeze, but what tells it when to squeeze? The answer is pretty amazing. It's a tiny, brilliant spark. It's called the cardiac conduction system, and you can just think of it as the heart's own internal wiring and its own power source. It creates a tiny electrical signal, a spark, and sends it through the heart muscle in a very specific way, telling it exactly how and when to beat. It's the heart's own natural pacemaker. So let's trace how this spark actually travels, because it's not just a random jolts of electricity. No, it's a beautifully coordinated wave that creates a perfectly timed squeeze. The spark's journey has 4 main steps. First, a little group of cells called the SA node, the main pacemaker, fires off an impulse.
Second, that signal zips across the top two chambers, the atria, telling them to contract. Third, the signal hits a sort of gatekeeper, the AV node, which actually holds it for just a fraction of a second. And finally, the signal is released to travel down and fire up the bottom two chambers, the ventricles, causing them to squeeze. And that brief delay, that tiny pause at the AV node, it is absolutely crucial. It's all about timing. That pause gives the top chambers just enough time to finish squeezing and completely empty all their blood into the bottom chambers. Without that delay, everything would just squeeze at once, and the pump wouldn't work at all. Okay, so we've looked at the plumbing system and we've looked at the electrical spark. For our final step, let's put it all together and see how these two systems sync up to create the perfect pump. So here's the whole thing in action. The electrical system creates the spark. That spark travels along its special path, telling the heart muscle to squeeze in that perfect coordinated way. And that muscular squeeze is what physically pushes the blood through the plumbing system we followed earlier. It's a perfect marriage of two systems creating one single life-sustaining heartbeat. And how often does this perfect rhythm happen? About 100,000 times every single day. Just think about that. That's the incredible amount of work your heart does without you ever having to give it a single thought. And that's really the main takeaway here. This whole incredible process just happens, all on its own. It's this beautiful, elegant dance between the heart's electrical wiring and its physical plumbing that keeps you alive, moment to moment. So we'll end with this thought. Your heart beats over 100,000 times a day without you ever having to think about it. It just works. What does that incredible fact tell you about the power and the sheer brilliance of our own body's design?